why do people think their life has to end just because they turn 30? Hi, besties. Have you ever looked at yourself in the mirror and you're wondering, when did my smile lines become permanent residents? Sis, you're not alone. Let's talk about aging, pressure, and feeling behind, and why it's totally okay. The societal clock is crazy. You hit a certain age, you hit 27, 28, 29, or even the big 30, and suddenly it is. When are you getting married? When are you having kids? You don't have a house, your career hasn't picked up. Why does society treat aging like a countdown instead of a journey? Like, who did this thing to us? And when you look at it, most persons, when they are at that certain age, they don't even have those things that society is saying we need to have at that age. So, who is in charge of all these things? Why do we have the certain type of pressure, the amount of pressure that we have at this age, the amount of pressure people get when they hit certain ages? Sometimes people are scared to actually get older when in fact it's supposed to be a blessing. Do you understand? And women, most especially, are the ones that are being taunted a lot by the society when we hit a certain age, like 30. All the things I've heard about 30, hitting 30 seems scary. People don't want to turn 30, but they also don't want to die. People don't want to turn 30 just because of the amount of pressure society places on a woman who is in her 30s. So now that we've talked about the societal loud clock of aging, let's talk about the physical aspect of aging. Imagine a woman and you're beginning to see the obvious signs that you're getting older. For example, fine lines, body changes, slower metabolism. You see some certain women tend to look plump, rounder, bigger, just because they have gotten older. All of these physical changes that you're noticing are real. That's actually what happens when you get older. Getting older is just proof that we've lived, we've laughed, we've actually survived, and you're getting equipped with what you need for this next phase of your life. It's not something that you need to be scared of. And I see some women that are in their 30s, and when they tell them, "Oh, you look like you're in your 20s," you're like, "Oh my god, oh my god." 30 isn't old. Like, have you seen that challenge on TikTok? Guys, like women in your 30s, women in their 40s, women in their 50s. You see a lot of beautiful women that still look incredibly young, and it begs the question, why do people think their life has to end just because they turn 30? I see some women come online to cry, to nag, to be miserable just because they've turned 30 and they don't have a spouse, they don't have a child, and they feel like they haven't gotten their life figured out. For me, I believe that being 30 is when you become an adult. You're like, that's your first year of being an adult. That's actually when I feel like you're well equipped to actually tackle life's challenges, to make big decisions about yourself, a choice of life partner, choice of career, to actually know what you want out of life and work towards it. I feel like that's a time that you can be setting with what you want out of life and go for it. It's not a time for you to feel defeated that you haven't actually achieved certain things. That is why I'm actually making this video. We need to actually break this stereotype. Yes, I understand that a lot of physical changes happens when you turn 30. Sometimes I see it, but they are not bad. They are not bad changes. Do you understand? You're becoming a woman. You've turned into a woman, and it's okay. It's proof that you are alive, that you are not dead, that you're living, that life is happening. Do you get? The third thing I want to talk about is feeling behind. I feel like as women or as people, this one is not just for women. People like to measure their life with that of others. They see a 27-year-old, a 28-year-old, 30-year-old, online in this age of social media where everybody's life is pretty much out there for you to see. Everybody's age is also pretty much out there for you to see, both the ones that are lying and the ones that are being honest with their age. Like, do you understand? You see a certain person and you see everything she has achieved, and she's 28, she's 24, she's 22, and you're like a 27-year-old, 28-year-old, and you're measuring your life with that of that person that you see on the media. Come on, that person might be lying about their age. That's one. And even if they're not lying, that person might have had some opportunities that helped them, process things faster, get to where they want to get to faster than you. That's completely okay. You have different lives, and it's okay that you're living your own life. I understand when you aspire to have certain things at a certain age, it's okay because it means that you have a plan for yourself. You want to achieve certain things, you're hardworking, you have a goal. But when you completely beat yourself up because you don't have certain things figured out at a certain age, that's where I leave the group chat, because then sis, you're tormenting yourself for something that you had no control over, and you don't even know what the next age, what the next phase, what the next year has for you. God has big plans for us. Your life could take a different turn. You know, sometimes you don't need some certain things to get to where you need to get to. You might actually be on a different path. You might also have some things that that person actually wants, but you're not acknowledging what you do have. Do you understand? Stop measuring your life on someone else's highlighted reel. The grass is always greener where you water it. They might paint a picture for you, and that's not what it is. And you actually also have blessings that you need to count as well. You don't know what the next person is dealing with. That's what I'm trying to say. And then timelines are different. There are certain persons that started certain things at certain ages. Colonel Sanders started KFC at the age of 65, and there's nobody here that doesn't know about KFC. KFC is in the business of real estate, then the business of food. They're doing very well, and they started and at the age of 65. Do you understand? And you're just 30 and you're feeling like your life is over. Come on, you don't know what's going to happen next. There are different persons that achieve certain things later on in life. Because just like I said, I feel like being 30 is like your first year of being an adult. That is when you can take good decisions about yourself. That's when I feel like you've been able to grow to a certain standard, to a certain extent, that you know yourself pretty much, that you know yourself very well. Not like 100%, but at least you can make informed decisions. You've grown, you're more confident in yourself, in your abilities, you know what you want, you know who you are, and all of that. I'm going to wrap up this video with talking about what aging actually brings. Society has made it look as though getting older has only negative value, but then there are a lot of pros. There are very positive things that turning older actually brings us, and that's what I'm going to talk about right now. First of all, getting older actually brings you a lot of peace of mind. That's when you understand yourself to that extent where you don't give a hoot. Like, you mind your business. Minding your business actually gives you a certain level of peace of mind when you don't care what society thinks of you, what the next person thinks. Like, you've seen it all. You're at this point where you don't care. Like, you have this level of peace of mind. That is one thing getting older does for you. And then there is the wisdom. Like, sometimes I think of the things that I did when I was much younger. I'm like, what? And I think of the wisdom I have right now. It's just so empowering. Getting older, turning a year older, comes with a lot of experiences, comes with a lot of wisdom, and it adds to you. So that is one of the blessings of getting older. There is you knowing your boundary and confidence as well. It boosts your confidence as well. There are certain things that being in your teens, being in your 20s, being in your 30s, can't get you if you're in your 40s, you're in your 50s. Look for women that are in their 50s, in their 40s, that actually know what they are doing, and they're going to tell you the truth. Check videos on YouTube. You're going to see women that are a lot older than you, that have embraced themselves, that are doing very well in life, and they will tell you that they have this aura all about them. They have this confidence, they have this glow, that glow that screams, knowing your worth, knowing my worth. Do you understand? That's what getting older gets you. You know your worth. So when somebody tells you that you're getting older, you can reply the person with, you're just getting started. So I'd like you to wear your age with pride. We're not fading, we are unfolding. That's one thing that women tend to be scared of. I don't know. Society tells women that, yes, I understand the biological aspect of it. The women saying that you need to have kids, you need to freeze your egg. Thank God there's this egg freezing thing right now. You need to have kids, at a certain age, blah blah blah, and all those things. But I'll tell you that you're not fading, you're actually unfolding into the best version of yourself. And I want you to understand that. And I want you to have that perspective, because if you don't have that perspective, then you're seriously going to miss out, because you're just going to be in a place where you're not growing, and you're not going to attract good things. You're not going to attract the things that you do want. If it's a partner, if it's a career, if it's finances, certain things that you want, you won't attract them if you don't have the right mindset. So my loves, that's pretty much it for today's video. I really wanted to put it out there because this is a time where women are getting scared of getting older, and I simply don't like it. I don't like coming online and seeing women crying on the internet and all those that are. Stop that. Do you understand? Stop that. They embrace your age, work towards what you want to achieve, and what you want is definitely going to find you. Don't forget to like this video, because it's going to help the algorithm recommend this video to people that needs it. Subscribe to my channel as well, because we always talk about interesting topics on this channel. And I will definitely see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.